namaskar, namaste. Welcome to another session of Meet a Mentor, a wonderful initiative by Jai Odisha. This program gives you an insight, especially for the youngsters, for the students, for the aspirants who wish to do something in their career. It's more of a career counseling, wherein top professionals from different industries will join us. They will inspire you, they will mentor you and they will guide you. It is often said that heroes don't choose their path when power is bestowed upon them. Hero खाली से नुहंती जी जहाँ को हमें टीवी रे देखु जी हमको entertain करूँचंती. Heroes से माने they are the rays of light. Heroes हेले से माने जो माने तांको shoulder रे से greater responsibility नियंती. आमर कहबा को हेले army officers जी आमर they're fighting for, they're protecting us, they're fighting for us, they want us to feel safe in our country. At the same time doctors जो माने कोविड रो हमको ट्रीट करछंती कि फॉर दैट मैटर ए पैंडेमिक रे जो एते फ्रंटलाइन वॉरियर्स थिले जो माने आम पाइन की प्रति मिनिट दे ट्राइंग टू सेव अस. कोठी क्लीनलीनेस रखी करी सेव करिया को चाहुचंती, कोठी डॉक्टर्स माने हमको ट्रीट करिकी सेव करबा को चाहुचंती. मोर ओवर आम पुलिसमैन जो माने हमको सेफ रखिछंती, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर मेंटेन करूछंती. They are just not only the heroes, rather they are the super heroes कहया को गले. से माने सेही सुपर हीरो जो माने हेले गोटे विजिबल एंजल्स ऑफ गॉड. आज हम संगरे गोटे सेमिति ही सुपर हीरो अछंती. सीए जने एमिति सुपर हीरो who is a inspiration to many young generations. Many girls, women of Odisha are inspired by her. So let's welcome Sagarika ma'am, SP of Sundargarh. So welcome ma'am, good evening. Welcome to our show Meet a Mentor.
Thank you so much, Ashali. Thank you for having me here. It's a real pleasure to be here today.
But ma'am, so wonderful to meet you after such a long time to see you in person. I'm very sure everybody must be, safe and sound at your, in your family, at your end, everything is fine.
Yes, thankfully with God's grace, everybody is fine.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so let's start on with, you are a role model to so many girls, young women, they all aspire to be Sagarika Nath. So what is the story behind this journey? What motivated you to become who you are today?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. If you look at my journey of cracking the civil services, in fact, I took a very early decision. Soon after my graduation, I shifted to Delhi because I really wanted this to be the job that I do. I appeared in the prelims. I cleared the prelims in the first attempt itself, which was a big booster to my self-confidence. I was like, oh wow, I'm almost there. But fate is always not that bestowing on everybody. And I missed the interview call in my first attempt by 13 marks. So the unlucky 13 that we say, interestingly. And after that, the entire journey has been a complete sinusoidal curve. It has been completely filled with ups and downs. Most of the people who see me, they think that this person has cleared the civil services, this person has got into the IPS. But I don't think many of them really know the levels of failures that I have been through to be finally at this position today. I gave my second attempt. I did well in the general studies subject. I flunked in the optionals. Then I gave my third attempt. In my third attempt, I flunked in the prelims itself. And I was so astonished when the marks came out. I missed the clearing the prelims by 0.33 marks. Imagine, not even 1 mark. It was 0.33 marks. So it's 1/3. And it's so surprising. And it's such a shocker at that point of time that what am I supposed to do next, and should I be continuing or should I be quitting, or what should I be doing? Then in the fourth attempt I said maybe I'm not doing something well, so let's try to change the center and not give the exam from Delhi, let's give it from Cuttack, maybe that would help. But that didn't help either. And then finally, in my fifth attempt, I decided to change my optional altogether. So
Okay.
I started preparing with electrical engineering, which was my core subject. I gave my exams in geography and public administration as the optionals. In between, I thought of taking sociology, then history, and finally I settled on with Maithili, which was in my fifth attempt. So six optionals, four failures, and five attempts later, here I am talking to you today.
Ma'am, you're a fighter. You're a fighter. I am so overwhelmed hearing your story. I'm sure all the viewers must be feeling that what a fighter you are. Truly, truly, what a fighter.
See, that's why I decided to, that's why I said yes to do this session today, because most of the people who aspire for clearing these services, first of all, they think it's very difficult. And
Mhm.
second of all, they think that एक बार में नहीं हुआ, दो बार में नहीं हुआ, जल्दी जल्दी हेला नहीं, तमने आमे करी परिवानी. There's,
Agya.
see, there's always this one thing here that you need to keep trying. Of course, you need to decide when to quit and when to stop trying also. That's a very important decision again. But if you really want something with your heart, then you definitely must give it your best shot possible.
I'm serious, you're so inspiring. But who has inspired you so much? Who has filled that, mind, your heart with so much of motivation and inspiration? Who's that one
Uh,
person, or who are those people who have, groomed you so well, who have motivated you so well?
See, I think I would like to give the entire credit to my family, to my parents
Wow.
particularly. Uh, you see, I mean, I can be called out later for stating this out publicly, but there are a lot of issues in which there are a lot of restrictions as a girl you face in this society. Uh, Often questions crop up that you're not settled yet. When are you going to get married? Is this the only thing that you want to do? So yes, of course, these all questions did come to me and to my family as well. But I am really, really thankful that I've got such amazing parents that they stood as a backbone with me, and under any circumstances, under none of the societal pressure, they budged, and they just asked me one simple question that is this what you want to do? And when my answer was yes, they were right behind me and they were right besides me, and each and every
Wow.
step they inspired me to be doing what I really wanted to do.
That is so wonderful. And ma'am, it is so important that you get that support from your family. Without family support, without your proper environment, you cannot be what you are. So it is very important for the family to support you.
Yes, that's very important. See, Vaishali, house is the first school that we learn our moral values from. If we are not given the proper values, right, because the infant mind is so perceptive, it just learns whatever it sees. So if you're not given the right values right from the beginning, of course, I'm not telling you that you cannot change it later on. You can, but you have to make a concentrated efforts towards it. But right at the childhood, if you are given the right kind of values, the right kind of encouragement, and the right kind of motivation, I'm very sure all of us can really do well. It's not an individualistic achievement. Your achievement is not your achievement only, it's the achievement of everybody around you.
Mhm. Ma'am, how do you handle everyday challenges that you face?
Um, Very simply, like I just said, like when I prepared and I faced a lot of struggles and obstacles and then finally went through it. There's one very famous saying that I always remember. It's in Hindi. It says, "गिरते हैं शह सवार ही मैदान जंग में, गिरते हैं
Wow.
शह सवार ही मैदान जंग में, वो तिफल क्या गिरेगा जो घुटनों के बल चले."
Wow, wow, wow. This is such a
So basically,
wonderful.
so it's basically you'll fail, obviously. Nobody is perfect. So I have three basic rules in my life. The first and foremost, you definitely have to try. If you do not try, you're 100% lost. You're
Mhm.
100% defeated. So if you try, there is a possibility you may lose. But if you do not try, you will definitely lose. So that's rule number one. And then rule number two is always do a SWOT analysis. This is particularly for the UPSC aspirants. If you are listening to me here today, what is a SWOT analysis? You must know your strength, your weakness, the opportunities that you have, and the threats around you. If you analyze all these four things properly, then definitely you will get to know what you really want to do and what you can do. Are they correlating or are they completely opposite to each other? And then you can work your way through. And the third and the very most important thing of the entire thing is that you have to understand that you are not the center of the universe. The world doesn't revolve around you. You are not so important. We always think that we are really, really important. We are the only one, and the entire world revolves around us. We are not the most important thing in the world. So it's okay. Let's try. Let's fail. Let's dust ourselves off and rise through the ashes. It's okay to fail. So these are the basic three things in which motivates me, and in this process, I prepare myself to face all the challenges.
So it is as it is said, failure is the pillar to success. So once or twice you have to fail to be there.
Definitely. I'm pretty sure that if somebody is telling you that they have achieved success without absolutely seeing failure, then somewhere or the other, they're definitely lying.
I agree to that, ma'am. Success doesn't come that easy. So nobody will serve it in a platter and give you, non-veg bhi hai, vegetarian bhi hai, sab kuch hai, bas mila ke kha lo. So that will not come to you. So you have to
For sure.
actually put that effort to be there. You have to.
Very true.
No. So ma'am, so what are the attributes that you think are most important to become an IPS officer?
Um, See, I have a very small acronym for it, which and defines how a police officer should be in general, and particularly for clearing the civil services. What are the necessary attributes that you must have? It's called TRIFACT. So, first and foremost is teamwork. Like I always mention, it is never an individualistic achievement. It's always about teamwork. R, it is respect for the law of the land. So you must have respect for the law of the land, if you, especially if you are in policing, because you have to uphold it. Then I, which stands for integrity. Integrity is the most important attribute that a police officer in today's day must have. It is followed by P. What is P? P is passion. There must be some ingredient of passion if you really, really want to do your job well. It's true across professions. It's not just particularly for police service. Then we come to A, which is accountability. With great power, there must be some accountability, or otherwise the power gets to be wayward. So we need accountability. Then we come to C. C is courage. So courage is very necessary because at times, especially in policing as a service, you need to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. At times, the rights and wrongs lines are blurred by your legality and the morality. There are two different kinds of rights and wrongs there, and you need to have the courage in you to take the right decision in those difficult times. And finally, we come down to T, which is, especially for policing, it is very, very important. It's timely action. So, if the generally the Bollywood has made कि पुलिस हमेशा लेट पहुंचती है, वो वाला सिस्टम हो गया है. So timely action is really, really necessary for anybody who aspires to be a police officer. So this is my abbreviation. I call it a TRIPACT system.
So wonderful to know that, this is I'm sure a very interesting acronym which everybody would want to follow. Ma'am, how important is physical fitness? I'm sure as a IPS officer, you have to keep yourself going always. You have to keep yourself going at any time. You don't have that peace of mind. You're always under that pressure. So, how important is mental stability and physical stability?
See, for policing as a career, of course, physical fitness has a relatively bigger role to play.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, also, physical
Mm-hmm.
fitness must be a part of everyone's routine. See,
Mm-hmm.
like you just said, there's a lot of mental stress. A healthy mind stays in a healthy body. So, the mind is the most powerful weapon of all. So, why do we want to blur or dent the most powerful weapon by not keeping it in a healthy body? So, everybody must aspire to be fit, especially in policing. Of course, you definitely need to be quite fit. If I give you a glimpse of the training part that we had, so the entire day there were multiple actions, multiple activities that we need to be doing. Early morning, there was almost every day we used to run for 5 kilometers. Then there's battle obstacle courses that we need to do, which is almost there's this rope climbing, there's this wonky wall, there's the spider nets. There's so many things that you need to do. So for which your flexibility, your stamina, and your bodily abilities need to be at the best performing state. So, of course, for the training part, you really need to be physically fit. But I have seen people who have had the mental ability in them, which they converted into their activity to be physically fit during the training. So I'm not
Wow.
saying that if somebody is unfit, they cannot get into the service. But it is almost true that anybody who gets into the service gets physically fit.
So basically, it is a complete package: education, mental stability, and physical stability. So it's a complete package.
Definitely. See, Vaishali, when you know the UPSC system, every year almost more than 6 lakh aspirants appear for this examination. And finally, at the end of it, hardly 1,000 of them get through. So, of course, the examination tests your mental ability. But parallelly, at the same time, it tests many other things also. Because it is not just restricted to what you write in an answer sheet. It has many aspects. It has a prelims, it has a mains, then it finally has an interview where they judge your personality traits. So there are so many aspects involved to finally turn out a civil servant, that in the entire grind of it all, you turn out to be the best version of yourself.
Ma'am, what keeps you motivated all the time?
Let's just
I'm
put
sure
it.
there is there must be one key thing in Sagarika Nath, that, that one thing keeps her going all the time. What is that motivation you have? You're
See,
full of life
I
all the time.
I always see getting into these services was put into my subconscious self very early in my life. So I was like, okay, fine, this is what I want to do. But then when I really sat down and thought about it, that why do I really want to do this? So every day when I go to bed, and I think that my action today has helped to ease out the pain of at least one person, or has been able to bring smile to the face of at least one person, then I think that my job on this earth is done. So this is one thing that really motivates me, that okay, yes, there are many hurdles, there are many naysayers, there are many people who will try to pull you down. Fine, it's okay. But if because of you one person is having a better life than they had yesterday, then definitely your job as an officer is done.
Ma'am, what will you suggest to the young girls of today? Now, there are many girls who opt for different professions. Somebody wants to be a fashion designer, someone wants to be an engineer, they want to become doctor. But very few have this mindset like you who want to do something for the society, being an IPS officer or a IAS officer. So what do you want to tell them? Tell to this young girls or young women of India or Odisha that what should be their motivational point to join IPS?
Um, See, there are a lot of people. I'm often asked this question that you have chosen a difficult profession, and despite being a woman, you have done so well. See, most of the people think that they're giving me a compliment while saying so. But to be very frank, I take it as an offense. Why should I be doing my job despite being a woman? This is my job, and I'm equally capable of doing it. To be very frank, the entire Bollywood industry has created an aura around the police officers where police officers are seen as dabangs and singhams. I have seen many of my interviews being tagged as dabang lady officer, and there was one pamphlet where I had seen Bhubaneswara Dabang Vanile Sundargarhra Singham, something like that. And it surprises me. Why do you need to be a Dabang or a Singham to be doing this police officer's
True,
job?
true.
Policing in ancient times and policing today has seen a heaven and hell difference, because of
Mhm,
course the policing independence policing was mostly coercive because it was the motto at that point of time. But today's policing, I don't think today's police are coercive. I don't think today's police believe in violence or using force at all times. Today's police is more about the community, is more about making people's connect, is more people friendly. And I think this COVID times has given a completely different glimpse of what police is and what police can be. You must have seen policemen stand on the roads, clear traffic even during COVID days, give food to the migrant laborers, help them travel from one place to the other during these difficult times, make it easy for them, help stray animals, help patients reach the hospitals. If they are at home isolation, they have helped them with medications and cooked food at times also. So there are so many things that police has done during these COVID times that has changed the entire perspective of people, I feel, for how police should be. So yes, tell me, what out of all these activities a woman cannot do?
definitely. I'm sure, what we are fearing. We fear going out. You are out there, defeating all that. So definitely, I mean, I'm sure police has a different respect and aura than what it was earlier. Ma'am, there is a question from.
I'm glad that you told me this, and also also to add to it, I'm since you asked the question that there are many girls who want to be fashion designers or into jewelry designing or into or be doctors.
Doctor,
Yes,
engineer.
please feel free to choose whatever profession you want to be. Make up your mind and be the best in it. That's what I would like to tell you.
That's a wonderful, wonderful, thing that you said to everybody because it is very important. You should know where you fit in. But at the same time, you need that little push also, if somebody has that capability but is not able to foresee. So this mentoring program, ma'am, that we are doing is to realize what your potentials are. So I'm sure by seeing you, by listening to your journey, many will be inspired to become Sagarika Nath so that you're showing them a platform, you're being a role model to them, you're showing them a platform that no, you can also be where I am. So it's a very beautiful journey that you are sharing with us, ma'am. There are a lot of questions coming in. So
Okay.
there is one question:
how many hours you dedicated per day for UPSC preparation?
I'm quite surprised how everybody keeps asking that how many hours you put in. See, whenever you're preparing for civil services or for any examination for that matter, it's not about how many hours you put in. It's about smart preparation. So many of people will tell you that they prepare for 12 hours. Many people will tell you but I'll tell you I prepare for 18 hours a day. How? How did I prepare for 18 hours a day? Did I keep on sitting on the table for 18 hours a day? No. So, for example, while you're eating, suddenly subconsciously things will keep coming into your mind that okay, this food has magnesium, this food has potassium, this food has protein, this has carbohydrates, and that is also a part of your preparation because in UPSC they kind of believe that you will have to know everything under the sun. So every process of learning is a part of your preparation. But of course, if you ask me how much of dedicated hours at the table I used to put in, I would say in on an average 8 hours a day was my preparation time, which I dedicatedly gave for civil services.
There is another question. How do you handle or deal with the job stress every day?
That's. I would like to tell you that it's a continuous process. I'm still trying to manage and deal with the job stress. But I would also tell you that if you do a job that you really like and you really love, then there's nothing like stress. You kind of enjoy that stress which comes with it.
Ma'am, your passion reflects in your activities. Your passion for your work definitely reflects. I mean, we have seen how you are, what kind of activities you do, how you handle everything. It is really inspirational. Ma'am, there is another question. What inspires you to do your work more beautifully?
See, all of us are on this earth, are in this world with some purpose, definitely. We are not purposeless. We have been given this life by the Almighty with some purpose. Definitely to keep on going and to keep doing something positively. We act in a way and we want to actually give so much that we have actually received. So, for example, my entire journey from a small town girl to Hyderabad, the National Police Academy, uh, I have received so much from so many people in my journey. Everybody has been kind enough to have taught me. The people who have tried to pull me back also, they have been kind enough to teach me that how to deal with those hurdles and make the better of it. And in the end of it, it's all about giving it back what you have received with so much of love.
Wow. Wow. So much to learn from you. I'm sure many will be benefited by this session of today. And so much to learn from you. So much to learn.
I'm
Ma'am, there
really
are a
glad
couple
to
of
be
more.
here and okay, yeah, okay, no
Ma'am, there
problem.
is one more question. There are actually a couple of questions. People are so excited. When they're just flooding on with questions and all. How do you deal with some people who defame the police officers in front of you? So this is a question which we've got. How do you deal with some people who misbehave or defame the police officers in front of you?
Yeah, okay. So every job has its own pros and cons. So in policing, you are like the frontline workers. We are the first line of defense. So of
True.
course, whenever there is any problem, people do tend to pinpoint and it's very easy to blame the police because they are the visible element in the administration. But as officers, we do understand that whenever a person is actually coming to a police station, he or she is coming under stress. Nobody wants to visit a police station just for fun. So we really understand that even if he is defaming us or abusing us or saying words to us, he really doesn't mean it. He's just under so much of pressure and aggression that it's blurting out. So we deal with it very compassionately. Empathy is one very important factor that we need to have in policing. But in the long run, I do believe, especially post COVID era, people will have more compassion towards police and believe that I totally believe and have faith in our system that our people will really love the police back. That's how we want the
No, ma'am,
policing to be.
definitely we love you. You all are our superheroes. You are doing so much for us. You know, in TV, these police officers that we see talking about the Singham or Dabang, so they're entertaining us basically with their moves, their all those styles and all. But you are actually in the front line protecting us, saving us, maintaining the law and order, which is so very important. If we are able to breathe safe, if we are able to, feel protected, it is because of you. You all are the superheroes. We are working hours long to save us. And whatever, I feel police, whatever, the efforts they're taking or doing anything, that is for the betterment of the society, betterment of us. So for us, you all are superheroes, and especially you are the superhero for me. Because there is so much at such a young age, you have developed, evolved as a human being. So fine, so fine, so much to learn from you. Today, many girls, many boys, they all must be, the whoever, watching our show must be so, inspired by your talk, inspired by your persona. I'm definitely sure about it. So
Thank you so
somebody
much,
has written,
Vaishali.
ma'am, you are the Captain Marvel of Odisha. I would say Wonder Woman or Wonder Woman of Odisha, not Captain Marvel, but Wonder Woman. Ma'am, one last thing. I mean, rather two last things. How, what role does the family play in the life of a police officer? How does their family take to all these, negativities or positivities, everything together? How do they handle it?
Policing is not a 9 to 5 job. It's a 24/7 job, 365 days a year. You cannot leave your post unattended. You cannot say that. I have seen many of my seniors and many of my team, my juniors also. Uh, they are not on leave even when they are on leave. So,
Oh,
so I have seen my officers. They have taken ECL and EL and gone to their home. But if any issue has come up in their jurisdiction, they immediately return back within the next couple of hours. And I am so surprised to see the level of the dedication. And imagine a family who is out on an outing, and suddenly there's some issue, and one of the person of the family comes back. What happens to the doubting after that? So yes, family has a very, very important role to play in the life of a police officer. They have to be understanding. They grow to be understanding, and without their support, it's really, really difficult to be a very successful police officer. Because see, it's not just about vacations or leaves or mental stress or anything. When a police officer goes on duty, there's always a risk uh, to a very high degree these days that he may not return back. That's a very huge risk. And the family takes the pressure of this risk without a second thought. They because they are proud of what the person in the police does. Because as a family, they're definitely proud. There is certain level of antagonism in the society, So there's a lot of mental stress. So if the family does not support, it's almost impossible for an individual as a police officer to bear out the stress of the job. So definitely a positive home environment is a must for a successful police officer. And through your forum today, I would like to thank all the family members of my fellow policemen and my colleagues and my seniors to have stood with them along the thick and thin and made it possible for them to be glowing in their jobs.
Definitely, ma'am. Family is giving you the glory. They're always by you, supporting you. Ma'am, one thing I would like to know, you have long hour of work. I mean, there is no time schedule. It's not a 9 to 5 job. So how do you manage such long hours of job?
Um,
It might be getting difficult sometimes. So how
it
do you manage
it
it?
so it's all about how you the answer to this question is same what a class 10th or a class 12th student would give you. How do you manage time before giving the examination? It's almost the same, and it runs right from the beginning, right from early childhood. If somebody is able to manage their time well, right at the beginning of their life phases, it's almost the same throughout their career. And of course, it's not just policing in which time management is important, it's in every profession. But because policing is a 24/7 job and you may be called at any point of time to attend to any kind of law and order or to attend to any kind of crime that is happening in your jurisdiction. So, yes, time management is very important with the huge responsibility that a police officer has because at times it's a matter of life or death. Your 5 minutes delay can really cause havoc in your
Dangerous.
jurisdiction. So yes, time management is really, really important. But I think it's a skill which one develops right from the childhood, and it grows upon them as they become a police officer.
Wow, ma'am. Wonderful. Ma'am, I mean, it is such a wonderful session. Each and every question that that is coming to you, you are answering it so beautifully. You are giving us so many insights about policing, about police officers, their family, their lifestyle. So, ma'am, I am sure today's session is so inspiring. It will definitely be of benefit to many. Many would want to get into police, job, because normally people are very hesitant because because of the high risk. So probably many are hesitant, and so I'm sure today young girls, young boys, they will definitely be excited about this job. That click will come to them that no, we also have to get into policing and do something in life for the society. Ma'am, thank you so much for this wonderful session. It's been so insightful. Ma'am, what is that one thing you want to tell to everybody on this Jaya Odisha forum?
Um, okay, so since you just told me that many people are afraid to get into policing because it's such a stressful and difficult job, I would just like to tell to everybody who's listening to me here today that yes, it is a stressful job, but so is any other job on this planet. So if your job is stressful to you only if you do not like your job. But
True.
if you really like your job, it's not a stress anymore. It's kind of it's something you do on a daily basis. It's so
True.
you kind of tend to like it. So I would really love if after this session, at least a couple of more people have been inspired or have been a little bit inclined towards thinking as policing as a profession, because we need, I mean, and when I said we really, really need dedicated professionals to join this service because there are certain services which we really cannot do without. For example, doctors. really, really important. And these are emergency services.
True.
And we really need good people who act timely, who have empathy, and who perform best as a team to be in such kinds of services. And I really hope at least a couple of you listening to me here today, I would see you a couple of years later in the services, and I would be really happy to meet you there.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your valuable time. I mean, it was really an honor to have you on our show. Truly an honor. Thank you so
Thank,
much. Thank you so much for being here.
thank you so much, Ashali. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am. So, friends, before we finish the wrap up the show, again will remind you, please stay safe. Please follow the COVID rules and regulations. Wear mask. Your life is precious for you and for your family. Each individual's life is precious for the society. So please stay tuned for the next session on Saturday. Again, we will meet with another wonderful guest who will take us through her insight, her journey, which will inspire us to become who she is, or rather, we'll take her footsteps. So stay tuned for another wonderful experience with wonderful guest. And please take care of yourself and do wear mask. This is very important. Last time a magical mask had vanished, so this time it is very much with me. So please wear mask and take care of yourselves. Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.